Welcome to 10-Minute Pay-Per-Click, your guide to generating local high-quality leads with Google AdWords advertising. This podcast is sponsored by Ad Machines, the place to go to elevate your pay-per-click performance. And here's your host, Steve Teneriello, local lead generation expert and author of the Google AdWords Survival Guide. Steve helps local businesses unleash the power of Google AdWords and creates advertising systems that deliver consistent, high-quality leads at predictable costs. He's the guy to call when you need to eliminate advertising waste and improve your return on ad spend.
Hey, welcome back to 10-Minute Pay-Per-Click. I'm Steve Teneriello, your pay-per-click guy. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about which keywords are impacting sales. There's one screen inside of Google AdWords that's going to tell you exactly what you have invested since you started advertising and how much you've invested towards each one of the keywords. You're going to be able to see the keywords that work, the keywords that you've invested money in that don't make sense, and you'll see all of the waste and opportunities for improvement inside of your account. So let's go ahead.
Okay, so the next question you want to ask is which keywords are impacting your sales? Now, keywords is the very foundation upon which Google AdWords was founded. The whole premise is, bidding on words that people search on. So, you want to know which smart keywords are driving and impacting your revenue. Which ones are you wasting money on? How can you allocate more budget and put more money towards the keywords that give you your best kinds of opportunities? And there's a very easy way to assess how this is being managed for you directly inside of Google. So what you want to do, let me go ahead and log in here to the screen. Go to any day and click on the keywords tab. You don't have to be in a specific campaign. Google will give you a complete rundown of all the keywords and what transpired for that day. You'll also be able to see all the search terms that have come across, and I have a video that walks you through this, but this section will tell you what you actually paid for or which terms actually triggered an ad. So for the purposes of this segment, I'm going to be focusing in on the actual keywords that I've set up for the day. And first and foremost, the first column you want to look at is your conversions column. This will tell you how many leads you've received, either through a phone call or through form tracking. Now, I'll warn you here, not everybody's going to set this up. This is an advanced feature within Google AdWords. It's something that we set up on all of our client accounts. We integrate all of our call tracking technology with our form submission, with our chat tools, and we pipe all of that information directly into Google AdWords. And the reason we do that is because we want to know at a keyword level how each one of these keywords are performing. We want to get as much intelligence as we can on these keywords because it'll help us make decisions. We're not only tracking conversions, but we're actually tracking the DNA of each click, so we can see IP addresses that come across. We can see which devices are most popular, how people searching. Are they searching on desktop? Are they searching on mobile? And all that data, once you accumulate it, you can start developing a custom playbook in each one of the cities that you manage. And that'll really help you not only get a higher lead, but you'll also be able to drive down your cost per new opportunity. So with that said, you want to make sure this conversion feature is turned on and activated. If it's not, this is the difference between a $30 cost per call and a $125 cost per call. Because if you have a manager that's not looking at the keyword level, then you're going to have a problem with either running flat or spending more without getting a better result. So you definitely want to be at that keyword level. Google will tell you what the cost per conversion is. So my cost per lead that day was $25.50. Let me blow this up a little bit as my eyes are getting old. There we go. You'll also be able to see how your position was for that day. So my average was 1.5. So I have a 3.0 here for this term. And you can see the fluctuation in costs. I got a $4.80 lead versus a $56.80 lead. So, at the end of the day, you average it out to $25.50, but each city represents its own cost structure. And I'm sorry, there's 2 leads in that city, so it's actually cut in half. So it's $28.40 a lead and $4.80 a lead here. So you could see how each one of your cities performs. So I'll go back to the client. We'll probably have a phone call later this week, and I'll say, hey, pull up your service management solution. Let's take a look at the 8th. Pull up Cold Spring for me. What kind of revenue did you get out of that city? And we can tell for sure the quality of those leads when we go back to the revenue. So conversions is important. Here you're going to see what you spent for the day. So the budget for this client is $500 a month, $500 a day rather. My average cost per click, and I have really good averages and good positioning, and a lot goes into that. We're testing a 3.0 right now versus a 1.0. We want to see if our message performs better at a lower cost per click than what we're traditionally spending on a given click cost, which is $12.49. So in this case, it is. So we'll continue this test until it proves otherwise. And if it proves out to work, we're going to implement this in specific cities. And that will help balance out the cost per call. So that's, just looking at this information, these are all the things that we can do based on one day of data, looking at how keywords are performing, because keywords are essentially profit centers. They're either profit centers or they're bleeding your budget, right? And the wrong keywords can really really hurt you, right? And you may have really tight keywords that work really well, but your ad copy didn't change, or you're not testing the bid rate, or you're using the same message that you've used for an entire year. All those things come into play when you start looking at keyword data. Another thing I'm looking at is my click-through rate. 4.01%, that's my average. But if you look at my click-through rate on the keywords that have come across, they're pretty tight, which means my ad copy is very effective. Now, where you see 200%, 150%, that means somebody may have come back and clicked on it again. Total impressions. So since I have really good click-through rates, my impressions and my clicks ratio are going to be where they should be. So I'm not too concerned. I don't even have to look at these if I look at my click-through rate percentage. Now let's say I had 100 impressions here with no clicks, then I have a problem, right? That's a red flag. That means I have activity that's coming across, and I'm not capturing that activity if that's the case. And usually it's either a problem with the match type of the keyword or the ad copy. It's not relevant to the search intent. So those are things I need to look at. My bid rate's fine, right? And also my landing page conversion. So I had a really good day. I had a 50% conversion on this account, and that's what we're looking for. That's a nice healthy conversion. I got 35 clicks for 16 conversions. I got a 50% click through, right? So there you have it. That's how you can size up a day in the life of your performance. You can see which keywords are really having an impact. And now I can go back and I can set up next week. I can really go back 7 days and say, okay, here's how the next 7 days, here's how my last 7 days performed. Let's really focus in on these keywords. And the way we have it set up in the structure, which we're going to talk about up ahead, the structure is done in such a way where I know exactly which zip code is delivering to me this type of keyword performance. So there you have it. There's an overview of which keywords are impacting sales, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions that came out of this that you can ask your provider to say, hey, are you looking and measuring conversions? How did I do in terms of overall conversion yesterday? What am I paying in this city versus this city? Are you running a split test on my ad copy? Are you running a test of my bid rate city over city to see if you can reduce my cost per call? Do I have any keywords that are getting a lot of impressions but no clicks? Let's take a look into that. So those are all areas that you can drill into to really push the needle and decrease your costs. So take a look at this screen. It's probably the most powerful screen you can look at to help you figure out what's going on.
You've been listening to 10-Minute Pay Per Click. For more episodes like this one, visit 10minutepayperclick.com and discover proven lead generation strategies, performance optimization tips, and free resources.